An Instagram influencer falls victim to a fake brand account, leading to hidden cameras being placed in her apartment. Now she feels constantly watched and unsafe. I never thought my life would turn into some sort of nightmare straight out of a creepy podcast episode. I'm just a regular girl, trying to make it as a fashion influencer on Instagram. You know, posting cute outfit pics, makeup tutorials, the occasional coffee shop selfie. I was gaining a bit of traction. Nothing major, just a few thousand followers. But I felt like I was on the verge of something big. I was constantly refreshing my feed, responding to comments, and engaging with my followers. It was exciting to think that maybe, just maybe, my passion could turn into a career. So one day, I get this DM. It was from a supposed representative of a major fashion brand. I'm talking big, like the kind of brand you see celebrities wearing. The message was polite and professional, saying they'd noticed my account and thought I'd be a great fit for their new line as a brand ambassador. In exchange for promoting their stuff, I'd get free products, exposure on their main page, and potentially even earnings. I mean, it sounded perfect, like the big break I'd been waiting for. I could already picture myself in their clothes, posting pics with some fancy hashtag, and seeing my follower count skyrocket. Of course, I replied right away. We exchanged a few messages, and everything seemed legit. The account had thousands of followers, posted regularly, and even had pictures of fashion events and collaborations with other influencers. They asked for my mailing address so they could send over some sample products. I hesitated for just a second, but then I thought, this is what I've been working for. So I sent them my address. I mean, why wouldn't I? A couple of days went by, and I was practically glued to my phone, waiting for updates. I told my friends about it, and they were super excited for me. Then, weird things started happening. Nothing too crazy at first. It was just a feeling, you know? Like I'd catch someone staring at me a little too long while I was out. Or I'd see the same car parked near my building every time I came home. But I shrugged it off. Probably just being paranoid, right? Then my mail started going missing. I'd go to check my mailbox and it'd be empty, even though I knew I should have gotten a few things. I thought maybe it was a mix-up or someone messing with the mailboxes. And then one day, I came home to find a package on my doorstep. It was already opened, with the contents scattered all over. It was just some boring stuff, like shampoo and face masks I'd ordered online. But it freaked me out. I asked my neighbors, but no one had seen anything. That night, I lay in bed, my mind racing. I decided to message the brand rep, asking if they'd sent the samples yet. No reply. I checked their account and noticed that the posts seemed off. Like the dates didn't add up, and some of the photos looked like they'd been stolen from other accounts. My stomach dropped. I felt so stupid. How had I not seen this before? I spent hours scrolling through the account, realizing it was fake. They'd tricked me, stolen my personal information. I immediately blocked them, but the damage was done. They had my address. I called a friend, practically in tears, telling her everything. She told me to calm down, that maybe I was overreacting, but deep down, I knew something was seriously wrong. The next day, I decided to check my apartment more thoroughly. I don't know why, I just had this gut feeling that I wasn't alone. I started with the living room, moving through the kitchen and then into my bedroom, and that's when I saw it. A small, almost invisible camera, hidden in a corner near my bookshelf. My heart pounded in my chest. I tore through the rest of my apartment, finding 3 more cameras, one in the kitchen, one near my bathroom, and one in my bedroom. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Someone had been watching me this whole time. Every private moment, every time I changed clothes, everything. I wanted to scream, but I was too scared to make a sound. I grabbed my phone, shaking, and called the police. They came over, took a look around, and told me to file a report. But the officer I spoke with didn't seem too concerned. He told me that since no physical harm had been done, there wasn't much they could do right now. Maybe it was just a prank, he said. Maybe I'd overreacted. I couldn't believe it. I felt so alone. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed staring at the hidden camera until the sun came up. I thought about packing up and leaving, but where would I go? I kept thinking about the DM, the excitement I'd felt, and how stupid I'd been to give out my address so easily. Days passed, and I barely left my apartment. I covered the cameras with tape, disconnected my phone, and even considered quitting Instagram altogether. But I knew that wouldn't solve anything. I just needed to figure out who did this and why. And I needed to do it fast before things got worse. Every noise made me jump, every shadow seemed suspicious. I don't know who's watching me or why, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not safe, and it's all because of one stupid DM. A group of friends takes on a trending Instagram challenge to explore abandoned places, hoping for likes and followers. But after receiving threatening messages and experiencing break-ins, they realize someone is using the challenge to stalk and target them. Subscribe to our channel for spine-chilling, real-life scary stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. You won't lose anything, but you'll gain thrilling tales and a community of fellow horror enthusiasts. Join us, if you dare. I never thought one of those trendy Instagram challenges would change our lives forever. I mean, it's just for fun, right? That's what we all thought when we decided to take on the Abandoned Adventures challenge. I've known Lena, Matt, Rachel, Jake, and Olivia since high school. We're practically inseparable, and one of the things that kept us close was our shared obsession with social media. We were always trying out the latest trends, going to the newest restaurants, hitting up the best photo spots in town. It was fun, and it made us feel like we were a part of something bigger. Then, this Tetro Abandoned Adventures challenge started trending. The idea was simple: explore abandoned places, take cool photos, and tag your location. The more remote and creepy the spot, the better. We'd seen influencers getting thousands of likes and comments by posting pictures in eerie, decaying factories, old schools, even abandoned houses in the middle of nowhere. It looked exciting, and to be honest, it seemed like an easy way to boost our follower counts. We were all in. Our first stop was this old factory on the outskirts of town. I think it used to be a textile mill back in the day, but now it was just this huge, empty building, covered in graffiti and overgrown with weeds. We parked the car a few blocks away and walked up to it, laughing and joking about who would chicken out first. I remember feeling a bit nervous, but the excitement of doing something out of the ordinary kept my fear at bay. Lena was the first to take out her phone, snapping pictures of the broken windows and rusted machinery. "This place is perfect," she said, her eyes lit up with excitement. We all took turns posing, trying to look as mysterious and edgy as possible. After about an hour, we posted the best shots with the hashtag and tagged our location. The likes started rolling in almost immediately. The weirdness started a couple of days later. I was at home when I got this anonymous DM. It was just one sentence: "I know where you live." At first I thought it was a joke, maybe one of my friends messing with me, or just some troll. I showed Lena, but she shrugged it off, saying it was probably nothing. But then Jake mentioned he got a similar message, and Rachel too. We started getting nervous. Still, none of us wanted to admit that it could be anything serious. We figured it was just some prankster trying to scare us. That night, Lena's apartment got broken into. I got a call from her around midnight. She was hysterical, saying she'd come home from work to find her front door open and her stuff thrown all over the place. Nothing valuable was taken, but the intruder had clearly been looking for something. We all rushed over to her place, trying to calm her down. Matt suggested calling the police, but Lena didn't want to make a big deal out of it. She was convinced it was a random break-in. Still, we couldn't shake the feeling that it was connected to those messages. A week went by, and we tried to get back to normal. We still hung out, but the excitement from the challenge was gone. I think we were all just a little on edge. Then it was Rachel's turn. She came home to find a note taped to her door. Post more pics, or else. Her place hadn't been broken into, but the fact that someone had been close enough to leave a note freaked us all out. We decided we couldn't ignore this anymore. We needed to figure out what was going on. We started digging into the What Abandoned Adventures challenge, scrolling through hundreds of posts, trying to see if anyone else had experienced something similar. Most of the comments were the usual, people praising the photos, asking about locations. But then we found a few that stood out. Comments warning others to be careful, claiming they'd been followed or had their homes broken into after tagging their locations. One user even claimed they were being blackmailed, but their account was deleted soon after. That's when Jake, who's always been the tech-savvy one, decided to check out the tagged locations more closely. He noticed that a lot of the posts from abandoned places in our area had comments from the same couple of accounts, all saying similar things. Great pic. Do you explore often? Or awesome spot, mind if I join next time? At first glance, it looked harmless, but the more we looked into it, the weirder it got. These accounts had hardly any followers, no real posts, and the photos they did have were all stock images. We finally found a lead when Olivia recognized one of the usernames. It had commented on one of her posts months ago, something about a meetup. She'd ignored it back then, but now it seemed more sinister. We tracked the username across different social media platforms and found a hidden website linked in one of the bios. It was like an underground network of people using Instagram challenges to find targets. We were horrified. It wasn't just about our locations being tagged. These people were actually using the challenges to lure young people like us to remote places, then gathering enough personal info to find out where we lived. We knew we needed to go to the police, but we also knew we needed more evidence. So we set a trap. We arranged to participate in another Abandoned Adventures challenge, posting about a new location we planned to visit. Of course, we had no intention of actually going there. Instead, we staked out the spot, waiting to see if anyone showed up. And they did. 2 men, both wearing hoodies, walking around like they were waiting for someone. We took photos of them and managed to follow one of them back to his car, where we got a picture of the license plate. We took everything we had to the police, the break-ins, the threats, the hidden website, and the photos. This time, they took us seriously. It turned out we weren't the only ones who had been targeted. Several other young people had reported similar experiences but had been too scared to come forward. With our evidence, the police managed to track down the men in the photos and shut down the website. They were part of a larger group of criminals using Instagram challenges to target young people for robbery and extortion. The whole thing made the news. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the dark side of social media challenges, and more victims came forward. It was a relief to know that the people who had been stalking us were arrested, but the damage was done. We all deleted our social media accounts. None of us wanted to be part of that world anymore. Looking back, it's crazy how easily we fell into their trap. All it took was a hashtag and a tagged location. What we thought was just a fun adventure turned into a real-life nightmare. Now, every time I see a new challenge go viral, I can't help but think about all the people who might be watching from the shadows, waiting to make their next move.